All right, so statistics. Statistics are kind of a fun area of math, at least to me. They're something that you see a lot of. You see it a lot on the news. I mean, just think about it where we're at now. Every morning there's the new numbers of coronavirus cases, for instance, and then they'll say, well, the growth rate is this, and it increased by this percentage, or Huntington County has this many, and in comparison to Center County, in comparison to Blair County, and statistics are one of those ones that you can use to see the different things. The other thing about statistics is you can kind of make them say different things just based on how you compute them and those types of things. All right, so statistics, the first thing we're going to do, the most basic one is called the measures of central tendency and the 5-number summary. So, start with measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency are these 4 things right here. All right, the mean, median, mode, and range. And I feel sure that you guys have learned these before in your math careers. So mean is the same as the average. Okay, it means the average set of numbers. Median is the middle number in the set of numbers. And you have to arrange them in order to find the median. The mode is going to be the number that occurs the most often in the number set, and you can have multiple modes. And then lastly, what we have is called the range. The range is the difference of the largest and smallest numbers in a set of data. That's how much spread the data has from your smallest number to your biggest number. All right, so mean, median, mode, and range. So here's the one thing we want to look at. A lot of times people, when you talk about mean and median, are the 2 biggest things that kind of describe your set. If I say to you, we just took this test, I might write the average on the board. And the average would be the mean of it. Now, here's the problem. Say someone in the class, Lucas, I'm going to use you, for example, in this one. Say everyone else scores like in the 80s and 90s, and Lucas had a rough night, and he didn't get any sleep. And he came in and he scores a 20%. Now, all of a sudden, if all the grades are in the 80s or 90s, we'd probably expect the average to be high 80s to low 90s. But as soon as Lucas's grade is in there at a 20, that's going to pull the average down. It might even pull it down into the 70s. So because there's an extreme value, that really doesn't help as much. That it kind of skews the data. That's what it's called. So it makes it look like everyone did worse, but it was just because one person had one number that was really small. Or it's the same as someone has one number that's really big. So here's the things, 2 different things to look at for mean and median. Sorry about that. So here's a comparison of mean and median. The mean we have to do to calculate to add up all the numbers in the set and divide by the number of items in the set. Okay. Median, you list numbers from least to greatest and find the middle number. So it's still very similar. But mean is only a good representation of the data when the data is closely grouped. So if all the grades were in the 80s and 90s, mean would be a great idea. All right. But like I said with the example of the 20%, it's greatly affected by what we call outliers. Outliers are the numbers that kind of don't make sense in the grand scheme of things. Now the median, on the other hand, because the median is actually the true middle number, it's going to make it less affected by outliers. All right, and for this one, if you have an odd number of items in the group, there'll be an exact median. And then if you have an even number of numbers in the group, what you'll have to do is find the middle 2 numbers and find the average of those 2. So let's take an example and see how we figure these out. All right, so here's an example of what a problem would look like. So find the measures of central tendency of the following set of numbers. Gives you a big list of numbers. I'm going to find mean, median, mode, and range. And then there's a question, does there appear to be any numbers that are extreme? Meaning doesn't really fit in with the rest of the number set. So I'll get one more page ahead to give me a little space to work. All right, so first off, we're going to take all these numbers and we're going to add them up. All right, so we have 12 plus 15 plus 16 plus 9 plus 11 plus 26 plus 41 plus 18 plus 15 plus 13 plus 11 plus 15 plus 19 plus 21 plus 7. So I add these all up, and this is to find my mean. I have 249 is what I got there. Okay, that's the sum of all those. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 numbers. So I'm going to take that 249 and divide it by 15. Do that, I get an answer of 16.6. So based on that set of numbers up above, my average, or my mean, would be 16.6. It doesn't really matter what those numbers are, what they might represent, but that would be the average or mean of our set there. All right, so for the next one, so again, for mean, add them all up, divide by the number that you have. That one's not too crazy. For the next thing, if we want to find the all right, we still need to find the median. So to find the median, we have to put all the numbers in order. So we have 7, 9, 11, 11. And what I like to do is I'm going through, just kind of cross them off. Okay, 9, 7, 11, 11, 12, 13, 15, 15, 15. There's 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. So the next one is 16, 18, 19, 21, 26, and 41. Okay, so there all our numbers are listed from smallest to largest. We should have 15 there. 1, 2. Yeah, we have 15 numbers. Now to find the median, we have to go the whole way to the middle. All right, so the middle number would be the 8th number in the set. Okay, 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Okay, so we have to go to the 8th number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This number right here would be our median. Okay, so our median is 15. Now, if we want to find our mode is going to be the one that occurs most often. Well, looking in here, I see a couple multiples, a couple 11s, but for 15s, I have 3 15s. So 15 would be my mode here. Okay, the range, I take my biggest number, which is 41, and I take my smallest number and subtract it, which is 7. So 41 minus 7 is going to be 34. Okay, so there's the descriptors of my set. The mean is 16.6, median is 15, mode is 15, and the range would be 34. Any questions on that? The last thing on there says that, does there appear to be any numbers that are extreme? Looking at this, I would say there would be one extreme number. This 41 over here feels like it's really big compared to the rest of them. But other than that, rest of them look pretty close. Any questions on measure of central tendency? All right. The next thing we have is called the 5-number summary. So 5-number summary, we have the minimum, Q1, median, which is Q2, Q3, and maximum. So median is the same as what we did in the measure of central tendency. The rest of them are just kind of other ones that are part of the set, different ways to break them down. So the minimum is the smallest number in the set. Okay, Q1 is the median of the lower half of the set. The median, or Q2, is the middle number in the set, and it may or may not be included in the set. It would not be included if you have odd numbers. All right, then Q3 is the median of the upper half of the set, and then the maximum is the largest number in the set. Okay, and this takes us back to remember the box and whisker plot? We would have done this before, probably, I'm going to say 5th or 6th grade. Box and whisker plot, you have your minimum number, your maximum number, Q1, median, Q3. Okay, then we have what's called IQR, the interquartile range. Interquartile range is a difference of Q3 and Q1. All right, that's the median in your upper half, median in your lower half, and the range between that. It says where the middle 50% of all the data lie, and is a pretty good descriptor of what's going on there. Okay, and then to find our outliers, instead of just looking at them and seeing which ones look weird, we actually have a formula. So you'd find your IQR, multiply it by 1.5, add it to the Q1, or subtract it from the Q1, add it to the Q3, and that's going to give us our outlier range, it's called. So I just threw a lot of stuff at you right now. So let's go ahead and look at it, and we'll do a problem with it. I think that'll make more sense then. So here's the example we're going to use. We're going to find the measures of central tendency and the 5-number summary with IQR of the following set of numbers. So we have Jada's quiz grades of 84, 76, 78, 62, 48, 93, 71, and 81. So here's everything we're going to find, all the statistics we're going to find about this number set. Okay, so I'm going to break this down and do it one then the other. So let's focus on the mean, median, mode, and range first off. This is what we just did, so this will just be recapping what we did from the other day. All right. So first off, let's take care of the mean, add them all up. So we have 84 plus 76 plus 78 plus 62 plus 48 plus 93 plus 71 plus 81. Add them all up, I get 593. Then I take that and divide it by the number that I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just 8 quizzes there. Divide that number by 8, and I get an average of 74.12. All right, so that would be my mean. All right. Now, to find my median, I have to order the numbers from smallest to largest. So I have 48, I have 62, I have 71, 76, 78, 81, 84, and 93. So I have all 8 test quizzes there. So if there's 8 of them, there'd be 4 above and below. Now, I don't have a true middle number. These 2 together will be my middle. All right, these 2 together are going to be my middle. So from there then, if I don't have a true middle number, I have 2 middle numbers, I would find the average of the 2. So I add them together, divide by 2, and my median would be 78. We can see that pretty easily. It's in between those two. All right, so that would be 77. Notice that the median is slightly higher than the mode in this case. All right, or the median is slightly higher than the mean. All right, then the mode, I don't have any numbers that are repeats here. So since there's no repeats, my mode would be none. And then the range, I take the highest, which is 93, and subtract the lowest. All right, so I have 93 minus 48. That's going to give me 45. All right, so there is my first set. Okay, that's my my measures of central tendency there. It's the first thing we did. So now let's move on then to the second set, our 5-number summary. So same set of numbers. I'm going to rewrite them out again. So I have 48. I have 62, 71, 76, 78, 81, 84, 93. All right. So I have to use this and to find my 5-number summary now. Now again, we already figured out that my median was right here. That's 77. So I'm going to go ahead and write that one over. Now my minimum number is 48. That's pretty easy. My maximum number is 93. All right. Now the Q1 and Q3. What I have to do now is this median split my number set in half. Okay, numbers to the left, numbers to the right. There's 4 in each. To find my Q1, I need to find my median of the lower set. So there's 4 numbers. I'm going to be in between these two. Those would be my 2 middle ones. All right, so if I'm in between those two, I need to find the average of that. So I have to take 62 and 71, add them together, and divide by 2. I get 66.5. Do the same thing with the upper half. 81 and 84. Add them together. Divide by 2. That's going to be 82.5. That would be my Q3. All right, now I'm not going to ask you to do a box and whisker plot or anything like that with them, but that would be the numbers I would use for that box and whisker plot if that was the case. Okay, so there I just did my 5-number summary. Now, to find my IQR is going to be Q3, 82.5, minus Q1, which is 66.5. Okay, so 82.5 minus 66.5, and that's going to be 16 is my IQR. All right. Last thing we have to do then is check for our outliers. I have to erase the number set here. All right, so check my outliers. I'm going to have to take 16, which is my IQR, multiply it by 1.5. I multiply that by 1.5, and that gives me 24. Okay, now I subtract that from Q1. So Q1 minus 24. Q1 was 66.5 minus 24, 42.5. And then I have to take Q3 and add that 24. Q3 is my 82.5, and I add 24 onto that, and I get 106.5. This is my range of numbers that work, numbers that are not outliers, numbers that are all closely grouped together. So if I look back at the original, the smallest number was 48, the biggest number was 93. All of those numbers fit inside of this range that I just found here. All right, and I call this my outlier range. All right. So nothing is outside of the outlier range, therefore this set has no outliers. That was our outlier test. Any questions, guys? Anybody?
Nope.